Hey guys, this is Cristina from craftmuse, and today our tutorial is going to be for a little Loomigurumi Joy Tsum Tsum. So this is what we will be making here today. And I will let you know what colors I used, and the band count will be in the description box below. And just remember that this is just a suggestion of colors. This is what I used, but you can also do whatever you guys have. So, for the hair, I used the neon blue from Michaels, the Rainbow Loom brand. And I believe that these are just available at Michaels. So if you cannot shop at Michaels, I'm sure that there is another blue that you can use with your hair. You could use like the turquoise color, the light sweets blue fairy. There's a bunch of options that you could use for that. And then for her face, I used the solar bands. They are called the Titan ones. They're yellow. The reason why I used those is because I didn't have enough pastel yellow, because her face needs to be lighter than her dress. So I went ahead and used the solar bands for that. But if you have enough pastel bands, you could also use those for her face. Or you could even get away with using the regular Rainbow Loom yellow color. And then for her dress is yellow in the movie. However, I decided to use kind of a different color. This is the chartreuse color from Rainbow Loom, which is in between a yellow and a green. So I think it worked out nicely for that. So if you have the chartreuse, you could definitely use that. Today I'm just going to be using the Rainbow Loom dual layer yellow bands, the banana peel ones. Let's see how that turns out. I haven't used the dual layer in Loomigurumi yet, so I'm kind of, well, I have, but not like for a big portion of it. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that turns out, because I have a bunch of them and I've just been too afraid to use them, so this will kind of tell me if I can or not in the future. So those are the three main colors that you're going to need. And then as you can see here, I added little flowers to her dress, and these are colors from the Mixed Blue Paradise pack. So I used the aqua one and then the lighter blue one here. So I'll show you how to make the flowers. If you want to add flowers, you don't have to, but she does have like a floral print on her dress. So you could either use some like really cute buttons if you have flower buttons, or beads, or bands like me. So, and then for her eyes and her eyebrows, I did use a different color blue than the hair. I just went up a shade in blue, just because I wanted it for you to be able to see it a little better. So you can either use the same hair color for her eyes and eyebrows, or you can go up a shade darker, or even use black. But I will show you how to use, where to place your beads if you want to have her eyes open. I was just basing this off of the plushie Tsum Tsum, and her eyes are kind of like this. So I'm still going to be doing that today. But if you want to add beads, I will show you where to put those. So you also need polyfil, a crochet hook, and a stitch marker. So let's get started on this little cutie here. She's actually pretty simple. Most difficult part here, as usual, with most of mine that have hair, is going to be figuring out how you want to do your hair placement, because they all have different hairstyles, all the Tsum Tsums. So this one wasn't too hard though. So let's start on the arms and the legs, and then after that I'll show you how I made a flower. I've done them in other tutorials of mine. They're just very basic flowers, but I'll show you how to make one, so that if you do plan on using them on her dress, then you can make several of them and have them ready for when we do her skirt. So for the arms and legs, you are going to need to make 4, and these are all going to be in the color that you're using for the face. So mine, like I said before, I was using the solar bands. So my arms and legs are also going to be the same color. So you need to make 4 of those. So I'll make the first one with you. And then if you want to pause the video, you can go ahead and make the second one. I mean, 3 more of them. So, of course, as usual, we will be doing a magic ring with 6 stitches. So if you want to wrap that band around your hook twice, to create 3 loops on your hook. And then you're going to take another band, bring this capping band onto that band, slide it towards the center, push the band down on your hook, reclaim the other end. Now what you want to do is slide this band here under this one here, as if you're creating a slip knot, but you don't want to pull it tight. You want to keep it nice and loose. Now what you're going to do is stick your hook through that cap band again, making sure that you're going through all 3 loops of the capping band. So you've got your capping band here, and then you've got this band over here. You'll take another band, and you're just going to be bringing it through the capping band. Leave this one over here alone. Slide it through the cap band. Hold on. Slide it through the cap band, up onto your hook. And you're going to slide this band through these 2, as if doing a loose slip knot. So that was 2. We need to put in 4 more. So through the cap band, bring your band through the capping band only, up onto your hook, and slide under. So that was 3. Here is 4. Here's 5, and here is 6. So this is what you should have when you're done with that, and you should have these little V's on the sides, which are your stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the band that's on my hook is counted as a stitch as well, so that will be number 6. So your 2 arms are going to need to go on bands that are going to be the color of your dress. So put your arms on the dress color bands, and to do that, I'm just going to go through the first stitch in my magic ring, grab my dress colored band, and slide it through both of these loops, bring the other end up onto my hook, and then tie that off into a slip knot for now. You don't have to do it too tight, just as long as it holds it together, because we will be undoing these and incorporating them into the rounds. So you need to make another one just like this, and then your feet are also going to be the same color, but you're going to need to put them on white bands, because that's the round that we put the feet in is where we start the bloomers. And the actual Joy Tsum Tsum didn't have bloomers. Her dress actually just went all the way down and covered her butt. So you don't have to use the white if you don't want to. You could just continue with using the dress color for the entire thing. But I kind of like the little bloomer idea. So if you're not going to be putting the bloomers, then you can just use the dress color. But if you are, then put your magic ring on white bands for 2 of them. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, and I will meet you back here when you're finished with that. Alright, so I've got my 2 arms on my dress color bands and my 2 legs on the white color bands. Now let's go ahead and make a flower. So for this one I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, this is optional, and the number of flowers that you make is going to be up to you. But I will show you how to make one, and then you can decide if you'd like to add them or how many you'd like to add. So you just take one band, whatever color flower you're going to be making, wrap it around your hook once, grab both ends and wrap it around again so that you have 4 loops. Then you're going to take another band, double loop that, and slide this capping band on to that double looped band. And then push it down and reclaim the other end. And what you want to do is just push that down, because we're going to need to make 4 more of these. So wrap it around once, grab both of them, wrap it around again, take another band, double loop it, and slide that capping band on. Reclaim, make sure it's centered, and then slide that down. 3 more. Slide that down. Cap band. And double looped. And one more. So you should have a total of 5 of them. Then you're just going to take another band and slide these bands all onto that. So just make sure you slide all 5 and then push it down onto your hook, reclaim the other end, and then you're going to take this end through here to tie a slip knot. And then just tie it nice and tight so that it closes up the flower. And there's your flower. So, like I said, I made 8 for my joy. So if you guys want to make 8, you can, or you can use however many you want, or again, buttons or beads. And you don't have to just do it all one color. You can mix up the blues if you'd like. So now we can start getting into the body. And we will be starting off with the face color. Our first round is going to be a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So here I have like the Y's at the end. That just means yellow. So we're using all yellow up until we get to row 5, and then we'll switch back and forth with colors. Okay, so we're going to do another magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So wrap around your hook twice to make 3 loops, and then just start putting in your 6 stitches. Just like we did with the feet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And when you're finished with your rounds, I would recommend counting how many stitches you have, just to make sure that you put in the correct amount, because it gets hard to correct later on if you don't keep up with the double checking. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what you want to do is, if you're using a stitch marker or a C-clip, place it on the band that is on your hook. And we are now on row 2. Again, this row is in yellow, and what we want to do is just increase around so that we end up with 12 stitches. So an increase is just going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. So, because we want to go from 6 to 12. So to do that, you're going to stick your hook in that first stitch, grab a band, bring it through the stitch only, leaving this band over here alone. So just through the stitch, up onto your hook, and then slide under. So that was 1. I want to go back in that first stitch again and do the same thing. So in the stitch, up onto your hook, and slide under. So that was my first increase. Now I'm going to move on to stitch number 2 and do the same thing. So 2 single crochets in this stitch. So there's 1, go back in, and there's 2. Now I'm moving on to my third stitch. So there's 1, go back in, and 2. Whoops. Now I'm in my fourth stitch. So there's 1, go back in, and 2. Fifth stitch. 1, go back in, and 2. Now I'm going to be working in my last stitch here. So there's 1 single crochet, gonna go back in, and 2. So now we should have 12 stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Go ahead and stick your C-clip on the band that's on your hook. Next, on row 3, we want to increase from 12 to 18. So we will be doing a single crochet in the first stitch and then an increase in the second stitch. And then we'll repeat it again. Single crochet in the third stitch, increase in the fourth stitch. Single crochet in the fifth stitch, increase in the sixth stitch, and so on and so forth. Again, this is in yellow. And here, if you want to put your eyes in, if you want pony beads instead of the closed eyes, then you will be adding your eyes into stitches 3 and 9, and I will pause to show you where to do that. So we're going to start. Our first stitch here is just going to be a single crochet. So there's 1. Now I'm going to go into my second stitch and do an increase. So there's 1. I'm going to go back into my second stitch and do another single crochet. 2. Now if you were adding eyes, you would be doing it here in this third stitch. So you'd stick your hook in, and I didn't get any eyes ready. So you just take your pony bead and then grab your pony bead or your wrapped band. You can use either one, and then slide it through. Put it onto a band that's your face color, and then you'd go into your third stitch here, grab one end of the eye, bring it through the stitch only, up onto your hook, and then slide under. So you're just basically just doing a single crochet with an eyeball attached to it. So, but if you're doing the eyes like me, then you won't put anything there except for a regular band. So just want to show you, just in case you weren't familiar with doing that. Okay, now in our fourth stitch, we're just going to be doing an increase. There's 1, go back in, 2, fifth is going to be a single, number 6 will be an increase, 7 is going to be a single, 8 will be an increase, 9 Now if you're adding another eye, you will be doing it here. So do the same thing I showed you with your bead, but again I'm not using the eyes, so I'm just going to use a single band here. Our 10th stitch will be an increase. $11 will be a single, and here in our last stitch we will be doing an increase. Once you have finished with that round, you should now have 18 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Go ahead and place your C-clip or stitch marker in that band that's on your hook. Now we can move on to row 4. And the pattern that we want to use is a single crochet, and then an increase. So first stitch will be a single crochet, second stitch will be a single crochet, and our third stitch will be an increase. And then we'll keep repeating that until we get all the way to the end. And this is going to be in yellow. So let's do our first single crochet. So that's stitch 1. Moving on to stitch 2 will be a single. And then in stitch 3 we want to do an increase. Next one will be a single. Next will be a single. And next will be an increase. Now we're doing single, single, and then an increase. Single, single, the helicopter flying by, increase, single, single, increase, single, single, and then my last stitch here will be an increase. Okay, you should have 24 stitches now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Place your C-clip in there. Now we want to move on to row 5, and we will start going, starting with blue, and then we'll switch to yellow, and then we'll switch back to blue. We're starting to make her hair and her head. So grab whatever blue you want to use for her hair. So for this pattern, it's just going to be single crochets around. So we don't need to do any kind of increases, just single crochets because we want to keep our 24 stitches. But we're going to start off with blue. So we're going to be doing 7 stitches in blue, and then switch over to yellow to do 6 in yellow, and then back to blue. We will be doing 11 in blue. So I'm going to go into my first stitch here, and since I'm changing to blue, I want to do a color change. So I'm going to take my blue band, slide it through the stitch and the loop that's on my hook, bring up the other end of that blue, and then just slide it under like you're creating a slip knot. That will just give a nicer color change. So that was stitch 1. Now I'm going to go to stitch 2 and do a regular single crochet. Now I'm going to go to stitch 3, single, 4, there's 5, and then this one is 6. Okay, and then I need to do one more in blue, so there's 7. Now we want to do 6 in yellow, so we have to switch back to yellow. So we need to do another color change because we want it to look nice. So we're going to slide our yellow band through the stitch and through that blue. Bring the other end up onto your hook and slide it under to create a slip knot. So that was 1. We need to do 5 more yellows. Just regular single crochets. So here's 2, There's 3. 4, 5, and 6. Now we want to switch back to blue for the remainder of the round. So another color change here. Grab a blue, bring it through all the loops on your hook, reclaim and slide under, and then just continue to the end with single crochets in your blue. Oopsie. Okay, I have 2 more stitches. One. Okay, so now you should still have 24 stitches. But as a warning, since we did do color changes, you're going to have these weird stitches on here that you need to skip in your next row round. So I'll kind of point them out here. This first blue stitch here that is going up and not like nicely with the other ones is from when we did the color change. So you'll be skipping that first blue, and then if you come down to where we switched to yellow, down here you have a stitch that's kind of going off this way. You're going to be skipping that one when we do our next round. And then here where we switch to blue, your first blue stitch you'll be skipping because that's from the color change. And that's it for that round. So let's get to our next card. So for row 6 we're still doing single crochets around. Our color pattern is going to change a little bit. We're going to be doing 6 blue, 6 yellow, and 12 blue. So we're starting with the blue, and we're skipping again. We're skipping that first stitch right there. So that very first blue stitch, skip that one, and just start in the next one. So I need to do 6 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we want to do 6 in yellow. So you're going to go into this first blue stitch here, grab a yellow, and we need to do a color change, so bring it through all the loops on your hook, reclaim, and do your slip stitch. So that's 1. We need to do 5 more in yellow, but our next stitch is going to be skipping this very first yellow one here. So just skip that one. There's 2 yellow, 3, 4, 5, and then here is our last one, and 6. Now we're going to use this last yellow stitch here and put a blue in there. So take your blue, we need to do our color change, bring it all the way through, up onto your hook, do your slip stitch. So that was 1, and we're just going to continue all the way around to the end with blue, but you want to skip this blue right here, this first blue here, and just go into the next one. So just continue around till you get to your last stitch. here's my last one right here. Oops. And of course you can see, since we're doing the color changes, your shape is going to be kind of funky because the slip stitch kind of throws the shape off a little bit, but don't worry about that because once we stuff her up, she'll be just fine. Alright, so you should still have your 24 stitches, and when we continue in this next round, you're going to have 2 stitches that you're going to need to skip, and that will be this first yellow here and this first blue here. So I'll, tell you that you need to skip those, but I'm just, if you guys like to go ahead, just remember that you need to skip your slip stitch stitches. So now we're on row 7 and we're still just doing single crochets around. This time we're going to be doing the same exact color combination as we just did with this one. So 6 blue, 6 yellow, and 12 blue. So let's start with that. So we'll do 6 in blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to skip this very first yellow, and I'm also switching to yellow, so I'm going to be doing a slip stitch here. So through all my loops up onto my hook and slide under. So that was 1. I need to do 5 more yellows. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then now I'm going to switch back to blue, and I will be skipping this very first blue stitch here. And again, color change. And continue all the way around with your blue. You get to the end. Okay, last stitch here. Okay, our next row around is going to be row 8. We're still just doing our single crochets around. Now we're going to be doing 5 blue, 6 yellow, and 13 blue. So place your C-clip or stitch marker in, and we'll do our 5 in blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I want to switch to yellow and put in 6 yellows. So I'm going to go into this last blue here, grab a yellow, and do my color change. So that is 1. I'm going to skip that very first yellow stitch there, go into my next yellow. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's 6. Now I'm going to go into this last yellow and switch over to blue. So through all the loops on my hook and do my slip stitch. And I'm skipping that very first blue stitch there and continuing all the way around till I get to the end with blue. For a few minutes I was filming but not filming. So I was just doing the tutorial, but it wasn't filming because my video, I have to cut it off at like 30 minutes for each portion because my phone won't film more than 30 minutes. So I have to keep track. You know, every time I'm coming up to 30 minutes, I stop it and start a new one. And I totally forgot to do that, so for like a few minutes I was just recording. Well, no, I was not recording. I was just doing this for fun. With no one watching, so thankfully I didn't get too far before I realized that it wasn't recording. Okay, so we went to our last stitch and you're going to place your C-clip in there. So let's move on to our next row around. So we're going to be doing this next row, and then after that we're going to start working on her hair, her eyes, and her eyebrows. So for row 9, we're keeping with the same color combo as our last row. We're doing the 5 blue, 6 yellow, and 13 blue. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to skip that very first yellow stitch right there and just go into my next one. And I want to switch to yellow, so I'm going to do my color change. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to switch back to blue, so skip that very first blue stitch there, go into the next blue, and do your color change with the blue. And then just continue around. And here's my last stitch here. Take my C-clip out. Alright, so we want to tie this off temporarily while we work on the face. So I'm just going to go into this next stitch here, and then you can grab a band, whatever color you want, and then just bring it through all the loops on your hook. And then reclaim it and tie that into a slip knot, and that will just kind of hold it together while we work on it. Or you can just leave your C-clip in, whatever you'd like to do. Mine always falls out, so, and then it all just starts unraveling. Okie dokie. So the first thing that I want to place is the nose, just so we can kind of go with the, yeah, let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's do the nose, and then maybe the eyes, and then we'll do the hair, and then the eyebrows last. So for the nose, I just took 2 yellows, or whatever color you're using for your face, wrap it around your hook once, and then I'm going to grab all of these and wrap it around again. And then I'm going to take 2 yellow bands, so here, put one onto your hook, and take the other one, slide this loose one over here onto that band, and then reclaim the other end, and tie that into a slip knot. And then what you can do is just pull this capping band onto this slip knotted band. And then just slide it all the way down to the center where that knot is. Then for your nose, I just placed it. Let me see where I did this one. Did I do it under the magic ring? Yes, I did. So normally I'd put my nose in the center of the magic ring, but for this one I went right under the magic ring and placed my nose. So if you can see right there, you've got your magic ring. I used these 2 holes right underneath the magic ring to bring these bands through. So you just go through the inside of your face and bring down one end, and then go to the other side and bring that down. And then what you want to do is tie that into a knot in the back. So just flip it inside out, grab your ends, and then just tie into a knot. So there's her nose. Now we can place her eyes. So I'm going to be using some blue bands that are a tad bit darker than the hair. Not much of a difference, but I want to slip knot these bands together, so I'm going to take one, then take another one, and just like we did with the yellow band for the nose, we can do the same thing. Let's tie that into a slip knot, so that will be one eye, and then I need to do another one. So that's 2. And then don't put that blue away yet because you will need it for her eyebrows. For her eyes, I just kind of did a little arrow pointing up. Well, you know, like the tip of the arrow. So let's see where I want to start this. I'm going to try. So here's my nose here. I'm going to try using this stitch here's my magic ring here. I'm trying to use this stitch right here. Why I'm saying trying is because it might not end up where I want it to end up. It's always a trial and error type thing. So you're going to bring one end down, and then you want to angle it up, because you don't want it just to be like straight across. You want it to go up and then down. So I'm going to stitch up here. See if that will work. And then down here, I'm going to try going in through this stitch down here, grabbing that end. It's basically the same way you do an eyebrow. Well, the arched eyebrows. So I might want it to come up a little bit more. So I started that one there. So this way, my eyes are kind of not as arched as I'd like them to be. So I'm going to try it with a different position. So instead of using this first stitch right next to my magic ring, I'm going to try going in through this. And forgive me for not getting this on the first try. I guess I could edit all that out, but then how helpful would that really be? So I'm going to pull that down. And then in this stitch here, there's a stitch right diagonally up there. I'm going to bring that one down. And then I use this stitch by the hair. So I'm going to go into that stitch, pull up this end, the eye, and then I want to go back into that same hole and bring this one down. Now let's see if that works. Okay, yeah, it looks like my other one. So I'm going to stick with that just because I like it to be more arched than straight. And I want to do the same exact thing with the other side. And so I'm using my magic ring as reference. So here's my magic ring, here's a stitch right next to it, and then here's this stitch right next to it. So magic ring, one stitch, two stitch over. That second stitch is where I'm going to start my other eye. So I'm going to come through the inside, bring my band down. Don't pull it all the way through because you need the remainder of this to make the rest of your eye. And then from here, I'm going to go up to this stitch diagonally and bring it down into the head. Okay. And then I'm going to go to this stitch right here where my hair is, where my hair starts, directly across from my other eye. And I'm going to go in through the top and grab that remaining eye band and pull it up. And then I'm going to come in out through that hole where this band was and bring it over. Yep, get off my hook. And then just make sure these bands are pulled tight enough so that it's laying flat on your face, but not too tight to where it will disappear, like mine is doing. Okay, I'm going to fix this. There we go. Okay, so there's my eyes. Now we need to tie these off. So these little nubs here, little ends are too small to tie into knots. So I'm just going to take one end of the loop and take the other and slide it under the other, and then just go into a stitch in the face, on the inside of the face. And then you want to tie that off with the yellow band, so just slide it through that stitch in the face and your eyeball stitch and tie that into a slip knot. Same thing over here. So I'm going to pick up one end, pick up the other end, slide it under. And if you're going in stitches in the hair, then you're going to be using a hair color to tie off, or if you're going in the face, then you'll be using a face color. Doesn't really matter, just as long. And then I am going to do my eyebrows after because I don't know how my hair is going to end up. So as you can see here, like I was not able to do like a full brow on this side or this side really, because the hair kind of was covering the area where you could put a full brow. So that's why her eyebrows are smaller on this Tsum Tsum compared to some of the other ones. But I think it looks fine because, you know, naturally people's hair covers their eyebrows anyways. So alright, so now let's get started on the hair. So I will leave this one here for reference. Not that it's really gonna help you, but you can kind of see the shape that I did for her hair. I made it, I made a little bang piece here, and then the rest of the hair is pretty, you know, simple. But what we're gonna be doing is kind of splitting this. So we're gonna start the hair piece here. So it's not gonna be exactly in the center. It's gonna be starting over here somewhere. I'm saying in the back over here, and then come down here. And then we'll fill this whole part up with our half double crochets or double crochets. I'm not really sure what they're called. And then we will do a separate hair piece over here. So 2 sections should be enough. I really can't remember how I did her hair, so I'm just going to wing it, and it's probably not going to end up looking the same, but that's okay as long as it looks somewhat decent. So like I said earlier, we are not starting in the center. We're going to be coming over towards the left a little bit. So maybe like your eyes might not be in the same spot as mine, but I am going to use the point of her eye here and kind of start up there. So I will be starting, so I'm going to go up from the eye, which would put me about right here. I'm not going to be putting my first single crochet in this last row that we just did. I'm going to be using the row right before that. So I'm just going to stick my hook in there, and I'm going to cross my fingers that this goes well. You're going to take a hair color band and pull it through and bring it up onto your hook, and then you are going to slide this piece here underneath this one, so like you're doing a slip knot, very loose. Don't pull on it. Now we want to work towards the front, going towards the front of her face. So we want to go into the next stitch above, kind of trying to go at a slight diagonal as much as you can with what you got to work with what you have right now. So so I put another band in, and so I should have 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to slide this first loop underneath these. So I'm basically just putting single crochets in right now. I'm going to continue going down. So a band is going to go through my stitch up onto my hook and slide under. And again, I'm going, I mean, this is not like a great diagonal, but it's also not a straight line, so if you can see that, right now I have the first band that I put in, and then I put 3 extra single crochets. So now we have ended the blue. We're out of blue now, so I'm going to work into the yellow. So I'm going to go into the next yellow stitch. That should be the first, the last row of yellow we did there. And I'm going to continue on with my blue. Now from here, I'm just going to do a loose chain. So instead of going in through a stitch in the face and doing a single crochet, I am now just doing a chain. So I'm going to take one band, bring it through and up onto my hook. I'm just going to leave it like that. Grab another band, bring it through that onto my hook. So I'm chaining 1, 2, and you want to take a moment and kind of measure this out to see where you want your bang to end. So I'm going to take another one. This will be my third of the chain. And let's see. I don't want it to pull it too tight, so I'm just trying to think here. So I think that's good. This right here. So I chained 3. So I have 3 loose on the chain. Next you're going to pick where you want your bang to end, the tip of the bang. So mine was over here somewhere. So you don't have to have it exactly like that, but just pick somewhere in the face. So I'm going to pick about right here. So you'll just go into the face, grab another band, and bring it on through. Let's see what else. Okay, yeah. So then you're going to want to take this band here and slide it under these 3, like we're doing a crochet. So just like that. Now what I want to do is start working back up this way. So I'm going to be going into these chains that are behind the band that's on my hook. So I've got this loop on my hook here. I'm going to start working backwards now. So to do that, I'm just going to stick my hook in that first chain. Now I'm going to start doing the double crochets. So I'm going to bring the band through the stitch only and up onto my hook. So you should have 3 loops, and then you're going to take another band and bring it through all the way. Then I'm going to go into my second stitch there of the chain, grab a band and bring it through the stitch only onto your hook. So you should now have 4 loops, and then you'll take a band and bring it through all of the loops. Okay, now I'm going into my third one here. We're just going to do the same thing. So through the stitch up onto your hook, and then a band through all. And again. Now I kind of want to secure this down because, as you can see here, it's floppy. And to do that, I am going to just go in. So my next stitch is going to be here that I'm going to be going through, this one right here. So I want to pick a stitch in the head that's right next to it. So I'm going to go through this stitch here in the head, and then I'm also going to go through that stitch in the hair. So I've got the 2 stitches that my hook is going through, and then I've got these 2 bands over here. Next you're going to take a band and you need to bring it through the stitch in the hair and then the stitch in the head. Bring your band up onto your hook and then just slide it through. Just like that. Now you're just going to work your way back till you get to that very first stitch that you put in. So stick your hook through the next stitch, bring your band through and up on your hook, and then a band through all. On my next one, through the stitch and up onto your hook, and then through all. And then here's my last one here. So I'm going to put my hook through there, bring the band through the stitch only, up onto my hook, and then through all. Alright, so this is what you should have now. It's kind of like a little mohawky thingy. Now what we're going to do is continue going down this way, but you're not going to be, you're going to stop when we get to about here, when we crochet back this way, and you're going to leave these stitches alone here, because you kind of want to leave that little bang alone so that it's more noticeable and it doesn't get integrated with the rest of the hair. So now you've got these two bands on your hook here. You're going to be working back this way. So this will be the first stitch that I will stick my hook through. And these will, I'm going to just take this off my hook and fix the loops because they get twisted when you do that. So stick your hook through there, that first stitch. And you're going to continue with your crochets. So bring a band through the stitch only. And then a band through all. And at random points while you're doing this, you might want to secure the hair a little bit more. So to do that, you'll just pick a spot where you want it to be stuck to the head and go through the head and then the hair. So I will be randomly doing that throughout. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to go through a stitch in the head that is right next to my next hair stitch that I will be going through. And then when you do that, you'll bring your band through both of those stitches onto your hook and then all the way through. Okay, so I'm going to come use this one as my last stitch that I'm going to go through on this side. And then I'm going to just leave this here alone. Okay, so now what we want to do is work back this way. So we're just going to be going back and forth. And if you can see here, it's starting to curve this way. When you do that, but with the back and forth, your width is going to get shorter. So if you come to the point where you think it's too short, you can actually just add in another stitch at the end if you want, just to keep the length of it. So I'll kind of show you because I'm going to be doing that when I work my way back up here. I'm just going to take this off and switch it around so it doesn't get twisted. And then here I want to secure this onto the head and go through the hair stitch. And then I'm just going to continue with my crochets. Actually, I don't know if I kind of want this to lay a little bit like this. If I go to the next stitch, it's going to pull it up like this. So I might go into that same stitch that I just went into and add in another. So you can always adjust this however you want to make it look. There's no certain count of stitches that you need to follow by. It's just all going to be based on your judgment. My camera keeps going out of focus. Every time I look up, it's out of focus. Okay, so I'm here at the end, and I'm going to go in through a stitch in the hair and kind of add in another stitch. So bring it through the head stitch and then bring it all the way through. And that just kind of extended a little bit. And then I'm going to go back. So you're just going to keep doing this until you get to where you want to stop. Now you don't have to go all the way down to here if you don't want to. You can certainly stop as short as you'd like. You really, I mean, like we place the blue bands before we even do this part so that you don't have to entirely fill up the whole entire head with blue. So you could get away with shortening it if you'd like. here I'm going to go through the head and then the head and then the hair. And then I'm going to work my way back. You don't have to take it off your hook and fix it if you don't want to. It's just sometimes bothers me when it gets a little twisted up. Actually, I think I want to go into the head again. So I'm going to go in through the stitch and then the head. Hopefully you guys are following okay with this. If you're familiar with doing the other Tsum Tsums, it's really nothing different. It's just shaping the hair a little bit differently is all. And if you need to adjust it, if you don't like it, then you can always take it out and start over again. I will be truthful with you, this is my 4th time filming this. Probably shouldn't tell you guys all that, but yes, the first 3 times were a fail, so. And so I hope that this one turns out semi-decent. Okay, so now I'm going to go back the other way, but I want to secure a little bit. And I'm going to add an extra one in this stitch here. And I'm going to secure up here. So basically I'm really just securing like at the beginning and at the end. Because that's all you really need. The middle you really don't need to do. See. Yeah, I went all the way down on this one. Now I'm working the opposite way. I'm going to turn and I'm going to do one more row. So I'm securing down here. And I'm going to secure down here too. I'm going to secure all the bottom ones so that it lays nice and flat to the head. And also by doing this, it allows you to kind of stretch it a little bit, and then by putting it in a stitch in the head, it will hold where you want it to. Okay, well I ran out of stitches, but I'm gonna make my own over here. And this will be my last one. So I'm just gonna bring a band through all of the loops on my hook. And then I'm gonna tie that into a slip knot. And you can kind of give it a little stretch. Not too much, but okay, so we have one side of her hair done, and this one looks different than the other one. You're going to want to tuck this inside. So I'm just going to pull that towards the inside of the face. If I can get it. There we go. Okay, now let's continue with the other side. So now what I am going to do is I'm actually going to start a single crochet going down, and I am actually going to start right here. I'm not in the head, I'm just in the hair from the bang that I made. So I'm going to take a band, bring it through that, bring it up onto my hook, and do my slip knot. And then I'm going to go down with single crochets, and I'm actually going to be going in the yellow. So right before the blue, I am going to be putting in single crochet. So bring a band through your next stitch and slide under. Go into your next stitch, get a band, bring it through the stitch only, and then slide under. Continue that for the length that you want it to be over here on this side. I'm in the yellow. Now I'm going to start going into the blue. And I'm going to go down one more over here. Now what I'm going to do, turn this around and work my way up. So with your half double crochets, take your band, bring it through the stitch only, and then through all. And here we are doing our back and forth again. So you'll just keep going up and down. And of course you'll want to secure it along the way. So my last stitch is here, but as you can see, with the hairpiece that I previously put in, it's going to leave a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to go into that hairpiece and put in my own. So bring a band through and then bring a band through all. And then you can work your way back the other way. So my band's got all twisted. So I'm going to go in through the hairpiece and through a stitch to secure it. This is always so much fun to try to explain to you guys. Okay, so I think I'm going to do one more row back up towards the top. So I do want to secure into the head down here, since this will be my last row. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going in through the head and the stitch. And here, the head and a stitch. And here, head and stitch. And here, head and stitch. And I'm going to bring this band through all the loops, reclaim, and tie that into a slip knot. And you'll just want to hide that. So yes, my hair turned out way different. But I still think it looks pretty cute. This little lump right here will be hidden with her little cowlick here, so we need to make her cowlick. For the cowlick, we need to make 3 little chains. So our first one, you're going to want to wrap your band around your hook once, grab all of those and wrap it around again. Now you're going to take 2 bands and you're going to double loop those. Put it on your hook and pull this capping band on to that. Slide it down and reclaim. I'm going to make sure that these are centered. Take another 2 bands, double loop them, and pull this onto that. Make sure those are centered as well. I'm going to move this out of the way. And then you're just going to push this down. Now, so that's a short one. Now we need to make the middle longer one. So you'll take a band, wrap it around your hook once, and then grab all and wrap again. Take 2 bands and double loop them. And you're going to want 4 of these. So here's 1, here's 2. Here's 3. Whoops. And then we need 1 more. And here's 4. Slide that down. And we need to make another shorter one, so it'll be a cap band and then 2 of the double looped bands. So make a cap band here, grab 2 bands and double loop them. So this is 1, and then you'll grab another 2 bands and double loop those and pull those on. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is slide these onto a slip knotted band. So again, just put a band on your hook, grab another one, bring it through and up onto your hook and tie that into a slip knot. And then you just want to slide these on. Well, maybe. There we go. 2 and 3, and then just center them, and then you're going to want to place them on her hair. So I'm going to put mine off to the side on the left because that's, I guess, how she has it. So you're going to have to go through quite a few things. So you'll have to go through the head and then through the hair that we placed on. So try not to get the bands caught on the way down when you're bringing it through. So just bring it down and then go into a stitch right near that one and bring the other end down. And then you can tie these into a knot. I'm trying to decide if I want this before I tie it into a knot, if I want it up higher. No, I think that's fine. So then you just go on to the inside and tie that off. I am so sorry if you guys can hear my husband's awful music right now. He is taking a shower and he has to listen to his awful music. I already told him to turn it down once. Okay, so there we go. So yes, her hair did come out quite different, but I kind of like it because it's longer. So here she's got, like, you know, kind of a short bob like in the movie, and then here she's still got short hair, but it's a little bit longer. But I think it's cute either way. So we should probably add some eyebrows. And just like what we did with the eyeballs, we're just going to slip knot our bands together and use those to make the eyebrow. So slip knot your bands. Oh, come on. So there's one. And there's 2. And like I said earlier, eyebrows probably are not going to be full-on brows. So it just gives a little more detail because her face is kind of plain now, but you don't have to add the brows if you don't want to. Then I'm just going to go a couple of stitches above the eyes. And bring one end down into the face. And then I'll bring this other end over here down into the hair. So that just kind of gives her like a little bit of a brow, and then do the same thing on the other side. This one I'm going to make a little bit longer, I think. So I'm going to start right next to my bang, and then go in the hair, right where the hair starts. Okay. Then you can try to find the right bands that it goes to. I know it's getting a little crowded in here. And I'm just going to pick up one end and then the other end, loop it through, and I'm going to just go into the hair, a stitch in the hair, and tie it off with a hairband. So and then the same thing on the other side as well. Okay. All right, the face is done. Yay! And her hair. Now we can continue on with her body. So we need to find where we last left off. And this is where we're going to be switching to the dress color. And you also need your 2 arms for this row. So if you want to grab those and get those ready. So on this run, our arms are going to be going in stitches 5 and 11. So you want to take out that slip knot where we last left off, and pick up that last stitch and place your C-clip on there. So we're just going to be doing single crochets around for this round and for the next 4 after this one. So it's going to get a little repetitive. So you'll go into your first stitch here, grab your dress color and bring it through all the loops on your hook, because we need to do a color change, and do your slip stitch. So that's 1. Go to your next stitch. Here's 2. Next stitch. Here's 3. Next is stitch 4. And then I'm going to stick my hook in stitch number 5. And you're going to grab your arm and undo that tying off knot, but don't take that band out. Keep the band inside your magic ring. You're going to grab one end and bring it through stitch number 5, up onto your hook, and then slide under. So then after we've added our arm, you have that first yellow band where we did the color change in the previous round that you probably don't remember because we've been working on the hair, but you're going to skip that first one and then go into the next one. Would be stitch number 6, and here's 7, here's 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to go in stitch 11, and I want to add my other arm here. So bring your band through the stitch, put the other end up onto your hook, and slide under. Now we have that first blue stitch there. That one we want to skip because that's from a color change. So skip that one, go into the next. And you're just going to continue around with your single crochets, and your hair might get in the way. Just make sure you're not going into your hair stitches, just go into the body. Gosh, I have to show you guys what I picked up at Target yesterday. Like, before I started doing the Tsum Tsums, the rainbow loom ones, I have, like, well, okay, before yesterday, I had 4 Tsum Tsums, like the real ones, the plushies, which I ordered from the Disney store. And then they started selling them in Target. So, like, every time I go to Target, I'm always walking by and I'm like, oh, they're so cute, I want to get some. But I never did. So, okay, hold on. Let me go into this last stitch here and put your last yellow in. I'll go ahead and place your C-clip in. So now we need to do 4 rounds of just single crochets around in our yellow. So we're going to be skipping that first yellow one from the color change. Okay, this phone is ticking me off. Okay, so I'm going to go into the next one, and I'm just going to do single crochets all the way around. So anyways, finally I went to Target yesterday again, and normally they just have like the basic Tsum Tsums, but yesterday they had like all the frozen ones, and then they also had some of the Christmas ones, and I was surprised to see those because the selection of Tsum Tsums are like in the United States has not been like that great. They're slowly starting to come out with like special edition ones. Like Japan was getting most of the good like limited edition and special edition Tsum Tsums, but they're starting to come out with them more here in America. So when I found the Christmas ones, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get that. And then I also found like this little Minnie Mouse coin purse that was Tsum Tsum, and so I had to get that as well. And I would have gotten more, but my husband already thinks like I'm a huge nerd for buying those, and I told him I was going to start collecting them, so he's super excited about that. But I have to show you after I'm done, after we're done making her. I'm going to show her to you guys. I was just excited because it's really hard to find like other merchandise other than the little plushies that they make. They have like a few shirts and mugs, and they're coming out with more, like I said. So the Disney store is starting to carry a lot more like Tsum Tsum stuff because they realized, or they should have realized long ago, that it was going to be popular and that all their stuff was always going to sell out. So I think they're starting to market them a little bit better now, which I'm really excited about because I don't know, they're just so cute. I know, I need to grow up, but I just love like the toy aisle at Target and Toys R Us. I could probably spend 8 hours in Toys R Us just looking at every single toy. Okay, so here's my last one here. So now I'm going to mark off that I have completed 1 round, and I need to do 3 more. So if you guys want to pause the video and do 3 more rounds of the single crochets, and then I will meet you back here when you're finished with that. Alright, so I did my additional 3 rounds, so this is what it should be looking like right now. And I'm actually quite surprised with these dual layer bands. I would figured that the white would show through more than it is now, so it might be because this is like a lighter color, so you can't see the white as much. But I'm pretty pleased with how they're working out so far, so We'll have to test it on a darker color another time. So now we want to do another row around with single crochets. This time we will be adding our legs. Yes, our legs. So we need to switch to white now. Don't put away that yellow just yet because we do need to do her little skirt at the end. So you'll need some white for the remainder of her body. So our legs are going to be going in stitches 2 and 8. So we do need to do our color change here. So band through all the loops on your hook. And then do your slip stitch. So that was stitch 1. Now we are in stitch 2 and we're going to add our leg. So undo that slip knot, but don't take it out. Slide it through and up onto your hook and slide under. Now I'm going to go around to stitch 8. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here's 8. So do the same thing, just undo that, slip knot, slide under, up onto your hook, and then I should have mentioned this earlier when you guys were doing your arms. And now we're just going to continue all the way around with our white. But if your arms and legs don't look right in the stitches that I suggest, go ahead and change that. It's not like you have to do that, but it's just where it works for me. But if you're using like a smaller or a thinner band, then you might need to put your arms and legs in different stitches than I do. So like these bands that I'm using now are a little bit thicker because they're not, the opaque bands are a little bit thinner than the ones that I've been using. So I had to change the placement of my arms than what I normally do. And my legs are in the same area as what I normally do. But like, I guess there could be even thicker bands than the ones that I'm using. So you might have to change where you're putting your stuff. Now after this row, if you want to add some flowers to the top of her dress, then we're going to need to do that before we continue on to close her up, because we need to tie them on. So before this little hole gets too small, you want to do that. So if you're going to do that, just go into the next stitch here and tie off temporarily. And if you haven't made your flowers yet, or gotten your beads ready, or your whatever you're using, then go ahead and do that if you're adding to this area here. Now if you're just going to be adding some to the skirt, that's fine as well. But I have 3 here. I'm going to do it the same on this one here. So I'm just going to show you how I did that. So I have 3 flowers here, and I did not alternate colors, so I'm just going to be using one color. So you have your tying off band when we made our flower. You want to go on the other side, go into the center, and we need to place another tying off band. Okay, so stick your hook in the center of the flower, grab another band and bring it through, grab the other end onto your hook, and then tie that into a slip knot. And just make sure that's nice and tight. You want to do that with however many flowers you're using. Or if you're not doing this at all, then you can just totally skip this part.
And if your hole gets a little large from sticking your hook in there, you can just kind of grab both of the ends and squeeze it. Not squeeze it, tie it tight. And then you'll want to pick a spots where you want your flowers to go. So I'm just going to start with, I'm going to start with this one here. I'm going to put one in the center up here. You'll just bring the ends through towards the inside of the body. So there's one end through. I'll bring the other end on the other side. And then if it's where you want it to be, then you'll just tie it into a knot. And you can add your other flowers that way. So that's how I added the flowers on. If you guys have a different way of adding them on, then that's totally fine with me. This is just how I do it because it's the easiest way. So now I'm going to add the other two real quick. I'm just having one up towards the top, and then the other two will be off to the side a little bit lower than the middle one. Should have gotten some nice flower beads for these ones. They have like tons of crystal and like gemstone beads, but no shape ones. Let's see. Well, I still have to do Rapunzel, which is going to require some flowers, so maybe I'll buy some beads for that. I'm sure they have some cute ones. Or buttons, actually. Buttons, too. Oh no! My white is coming undone. Did I not tie my slip knot good enough? Alright. So once you've got your flowers on, I'm just going to fix this real quick. Good thing it's pretty simple to fix. If this were a loom design, I'd be devastated right now. Why did that come undone? I thought I tied a slip knot. Guess I wasn't paying attention. Alright, whatever. So take that slip knot out if you tied one. And you're going to place your C-clip on the band that's on your hook. So now we want to decrease to 18 stitches. So our pattern, we are now on row 16. We will be doing a single crochet, and then a decrease. And we'll repeat that pattern all the way around so that we end up with 18 stitches. So you're going to be skipping that first little white stitch there. That's from our color change. So go into the next one over. And you're going to do a single crochet in this first stitch. So there's one. Go into your second stitch and do a single crochet. Now we want to do a decrease. So we want to stitch these next two stitches together. So we're going to be picking up the front loop only. I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I'm just going to go in between so that I have that one loop on there. And then I'm going to go to the next stitch and do the same thing. So as you can see, I'm in between the stitches. And then I still have this one over here. You're going to grab a band, bring it through the first 2 loops only. Bring up onto your hook and slide under. So that is a decrease. Now we're going to continue on with our pattern. So we go back to single crochets. So here's 1 single crochet. Go to your next stitch, do another single crochet. Now I want to do another decrease. So I'm going to go pick up the front loop only of this stitch and the front loop only of this stitch. Bring your band through the first 2 loops only, up onto your hook and slide under. Continuing, single crochet, single crochet, and then a decrease. If we can, there we go. Then we're going to do a single crochet, single, and a decrease. Do a single, single, and a decrease. Single, single, and then these last stitches we will do a decrease. And you should now have 18 stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Go ahead and place that C-clip on the band that's on your hook. We want to decrease again. So we want to go down to 12 stitches. So our pattern will be a single crochet followed by a decrease, and then just repeat that around to get to the end. Again, this is in white, so single crochet and then a decrease. And then a single crochet and a decrease. Single crochet, decrease, single, decrease, do a single, and then a decrease, a single here, and then we'll end with a decrease. Now you should have 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just push the band down on your hook, and we're gonna stuff her with some polyfil. Whoops, my camera just went lopsided. So you want to take a little bit at a time and just start stuffing and shaping out her face if it got all distorted. Should have used a darker blue for her eyes. Just make sure you're not putting too much so that it's coming out of the holes. Okay, and then once you've got her stuffed up, we're going to go ahead and close her off now. So what we're going to be doing in this row is just decreasing all the way around so that we end up with 6 stitches. And to do that, we're going to be doing a total of 6 decreases. And yes, this is also in white, so unless of course you're just doing the dress color all the way through to the end. So just decreases all the way around. So here's going to be my first decrease. So there's one. And I'm just kind of stuffing my stuffing back in there while I'm doing this because it wants to come out. And there's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. Whoops. Nope. Yep. Here's 4. Here's 5. And then one more here. 6. So you'll be left with 6 stitches and a gap. And we want to close that up. So keeping that band on your hook, grab another white band, bring it through, reclaim, and tie that into a slip knot. And we're going to take this band through the top loop of each stitch around in this little tiny area. So you're just going to stick your hook through in between the stitch so that you just have the top loop and start bringing this tying off band through. So there's one. Go into your next top loop. There's 2. Go into your next one. There's 3. Your next one is 4. Now I'm going to do one more, so I'll go through my 5th one here. Oh, it's all twisted, so I can't find my top loop. There we go. 5. You want to press down with your thumb and pull. Don't pull too tight. And so that closes up your little gap that you had. And then we just need to tie this into a knot. So I'm just going to go into a stitch kind of right near my tying off band. And I'm going to hold on to this while I bring this through through that stitch. And then I'm going to grab this and bring it through so that it just ties it into a knot. Push down with your fingers. Don't pull it without pushing down your fingers. And then, so now it's, you know, it will stay in a knot. So you just want to tuck that white little tail in. Without pulling out all your stuffing. Okay, so there she is. We now need to add her little skirt, which is pretty simple. So let's get on with that. Okay, so for her skirt, you're going to need your yellow again, your dress color. And I'm just going to be placing a line of single crochets from one end of her foot to the other, and I'm going in the yellow. I'm not going to go into the white, so I'm going into the yellow right before we got to the white in her butt. So you're going to take your yellow and bring it through a stitch up onto your hook, and then do a slip knot, loose one of course. And then you're just going to work your way up and over to the other end and placing single crochets. So bring another band through the next stitch up onto your hook and then slide under. Just continue that all the way across. And then once we start working on like the length of her skirt, you guys you can do as many back and forth as you'd like. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. Like if you want a longer dress, then you can do that. I'm actually going to make mine a shorter dress today, probably even shorter than the one I made for my practice one. I just want to see how it looks with a shorter skirt. So I'll probably just be doing 2 rows after this. Alright, so I'm going to go down here to where the foot is and do my last crochet. So now you can see I've got that line of single crochets. Now what I want to do is just go back towards the very beginning with single crochets. So you've got the band that's on your hook, except for on the ends, like this very first stitch here and this last stitch here, I will be doing an increase in those, just to let it hold, just so the skirt flares out a little bit more than just being straight. So I'm gonna go into this first stitch here and do an increase. So there's 1 single crochet, go back into that first stitch, and there's 2. Now I'm going to do single crochets all the way to the beginning, and once I get to that very first stitch, that I placed in over there, I'll do an increase. So easy peasy. You guys already probably know how to do this. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do 1 more row after this one. I hope you guys are still enjoying the Tsum Tsum tutorials. I don't know. To me, it just seems like less people are doing rainbow loom. So I don't really know if like people are still interested in these really.
And then of course there's those people who have been, you know, making their own now. So I'm at my last one here, so I'm going to do an increase. So, you know, people are comfortable with making their own Tsum Tsums, which is great. So, I don't know. I just hope that I can continue making these tutorials for you for the Tsum Tsums, because I enjoy doing it and they keep coming out with new ones. So, I guess as long as you guys have an interest in it still, I will continue with the Tsum Tsums. Okay, now I'm going to work my way back towards the end. And so this is going to be my last row. So I'm going to do this one here and then be finished. So again, I'm going to go into this first stitch here and put in an increase. And then I am going to go all the way to the very last stitch there. Now if you're going to be adding buttons or beads or flowers here, you might want to add an additional row. I'm going to keep my skirt plain this time because I didn't make any extra flowers. So she's just going to be a plain Jane, but it's okay. She'll still be fine. Maybe I just feel like Rainbow Loom is starting to die down. Maybe it is, but I haven't really been spending as much time on Instagram and Facebook lately, so I'm not really seeing like everybody's posts and stuff. Well, I mean, I try to like comment and like all the ones that you guys tag me under, but like I'm not really spending extra additional time on Instagram or Facebook lately, so I just haven't really been seeing much like looming and stuff, so I can't really tell if it's like going away or if it's here to stay. That rhymed. Okay, so here's my last one, and I'm going to do an increase here. And then since I'm ending here, I'm just going to go back in to that stitch and grab a band and bring it through all the loops on my hook. And then tie that off with a slip knot. So yes, I kept her skirt short. So I have this little short skirt here, and then here her skirt is a little bit longer. I don't know. I don't know which one I like better, but like I said, if you were adding these little flowers, this wouldn't really fit on this little short skirt. So you'd have to at least put in another row of these single crochets for the flowers to fit on there. Well, I mean, I guess you could fit the flowers on, they'd just be hanging off the skirt. So now, when you have tied off your skirt, you're just going to want to tuck it in. I usually tuck it into where we create the little slip knots from the stitches, just because it stays in there better. So I just go in through those and then just weave these in. So I'm just going to go all the way across until I can't go anymore. So just like that. And that will stay. And so there is Joy. Feel free to add some little cheeks if you'd like. I don't think the Tsum Tsum has cheeks on this one, but She would look cute with cheeks. I'm kind of debating whether I should or not. I kind of like adding cheeks to my things. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed making her. It's funny how they both look so different. Well, not like completely different, but with the shorter skirt, she looks smaller than this one here. And with the longer hair, her face looks smaller too. It's weird. So here she is. I'm sure your guys' joys are going to turn out adorable, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. So make sure you share them with me on Instagram and on Facebook. I have the links for both of my pages. You can find that on my channel banner that's on my YouTube homepage. So if you just click that, it will bring you directly there, and then you can just tag me on either Facebook or on either Instagram, or if you're going on Facebook, you just post it to the wall of craftmuse. And I will see it, and I will like it, and I will comment on it, because I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. So here, hope you guys had a good time making Joy. And I, of course, still have plans to do the other Inside Out characters. I just kind of like to jump around a little bit, so I don't really do things in order. And I'm sorry about that. I know that probably annoys some people that I kind of go back and forth, but I don't know. Sometimes I get a little bored of doing like a same group of characters or whatever. Or, like, I get ideas that pop into my head and then I have to do it like right that minute. Like, I can't wait and before I film like the whole series of Inside Out before I want to try something else. So that being said, here is my next tutorial right here. Little bitty Dumbo. I had to think of his name. But he's so tiny. Like, here's Joy. And here's little Dumbo. He's so cute. He's so little. So I decided I wanted to start making minis because they take less bands. Less time. Not much less, but they are smaller, so you're not going to be using as many bands, and I think they're adorable. So I don't know if I'll do like duplicate minis, so like I don't know if I'll ever be making like a mini Joy or anything like that, but I think I'll make like several of these little minis because they're really cute. So I have my Dumbo here in the mini, but I think I'm still going to be making a normal size of him as well. So but he's really adorable, and so he'll be my next tutorial. And I also have to show you what I got from Target because I'm thinking of doing these as tutorials. So I got Donald here in his little Christmas outfit, and he's so cute because like he's so fluffy like right here, which is adorable. So like if you get the normal Donald Tsum Tsum at Target or on Disney, his little bottom's not fluffy, but it is on this one. And he has a little fluffy tail and his little Christmas scarf and a little hat. So he's like so cute. And then I got Minnie in her little Christmas dress with her little Santa hat. So here she is here. She's so cute too. So I had to show you guys those because I don't have anybody to share my purchases with because my husband doesn't really, care. And I got this little purse here. So it's a little coin purse, and it has a little Eeyore on the zipper. Eeyore Tsum Tsum. So I got this at Target too. So yay, I'm so excited. And that's the start of my collection. So, thank you guys again for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing your creations that you make, and I will see you guys next time for the next tutorial, and I hope you guys had a wonderful Halloween, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!